Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today, we are talking about the playoff stock trading. So, if we were in the stock world, what team stock am I buying and what team stock am I selling? So, if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it. So, it's not gonna be a long video today, right? We're gonna do two AFC teams and two NFC teams. So I'm gonna go in depth about these two teams, why I would either one, buy their stock if it was available, and why I would sell their stock if it was available, of teams that I would not want at all in my portfolio, and teams that I think I would put money in right now to make a deep run. So let's get into it. Starting off, number one, the Denver Broncos. I am going to be selling Denver Broncos stock. Yes, I am recording this minutes after the Houston Texans beat the Los Angeles Chargers, cementing the Broncos as the AFC West AFC West champion this year. But for me, I can't do it. I can't buy in Broncos being anything more than a first round exit. They have one of the most inconsistent offenses in the league. Bo Nix and this run game you cannot rely on. The wide receiver core you cannot rely on. However, this defense is top 5, and they have carried this team to lots of one-score wins. A record 11 one-score wins this season. That is a new NFL record, taking over the Chiefs last year, who had 10. It's a new record. This defense is keeping them in games. However, in the playoffs, you have to be consistent both ways. Otherwise, you will get bounced in the playoffs. Just ask the Ravens, ask the Bills, ask the Bengals, ask the Chiefs. Every team has lost in the playoffs because they have a game where the offense isn't clicking or the defense isn't clicking, and the other team was, and they took advantage of it. That is the biggest issue, and I do worry about the Broncos being consistent, because that's the one thing they have not been this year is consistent. Bo Nix is not a talent elevator like other QBs, right? Drake May is having an MVP campaign with Kayshon Boutte and Demario Douglas, right? Denver Broncos have pretty similar wide receiver talent. I think Courtland Sutton is definitely better. Marvin Mims, Pat Bryant, they're all relatively the same level of wide receiver as Kayshon Boutte and Demario Douglas. And the Broncos are not a competent, consistent offense. Meanwhile, Drake May is elevating that talent core. Similar offensive lines, similar run games. Like, it's crazy the difference in elevation of quarterback compared to a Drake May and a Bo Nix. And I just don't think Bo Nix is that talent elevator like other QBs. The run game is far too hit or miss. RJ Harvey will have one game where he rushes for 100 yards, then another game where he rushes for 30, but Bo Nix has a rushing touchdown from a scramble because you can't rely on the run game, so Bo Nix does it himself. Like, it can never be consistent, right? And that's something that the end of the playoffs matter. I do think, this is my prediction, the defense will keep it close, but offense will fail in the final few drives to score points. My prediction is a first round exit. If they make it deeper than the first round, I will be shocked. I have been not a big fan of the Broncos all season. They're the team that I think are the biggest fakes in the playoffs. Because I think, again, you can win a lot of regular season games off one-score wins. But when it comes to the playoffs, you have to be consistent offense, a consistent defense. And while their defense is elite, their offense is nothing but that. So I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. I would be selling their stock if I was a Broncos fan. It's like, hey, you're in the playoffs, you're having a great year. That's awesome. We all know, right? We all know this is not a team that is going to win the Super Bowl this year. We all know it. Next, we have for the NFC, the Chicago Bears. I'm going to be buying the Chicago Bears stock. One thing you can say about Ben Johnson is that he can win with passing or running. This is a top 6 passing offense and a top 2 rushing offense. No matter what, this offense is going to produce. The question mark is their defense. But the key thing is the defense is hunting for turnovers. Yes, that lets up big plays occasionally. But if their defense can get 1 or 2 turnovers a playoff game, this offense is going to take advantage of it, and they're going to score. They can beat with good run games. They can beat with good passing games. No matter what, the Chicago Bears are going to put points on the board and are going to run the ball or pass the ball and get yardage. Caleb, I do believe, is going to shine in his first playoff appearance. He seems like the type of quarterback that is just consistently good. You know, he's not going to have these games where he's complete garbage, but he's not also going to have the games where he is the reason you win the Super Bowl, right? I think he's a quality quarterback that can get you in those positions to win. And if your defense can get you in those positions to win, Caleb will take advantage of it. I do think they have a real chance at a deep playoff run. This is a team that defensively, obviously pass rush is going to be the biggest issue, is getting to the quarterback. But their back 7 is doing all that they can to win these games, and their offensive line has become great over the course of the season. Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift are doing exactly what you need them to do. Then you have a plethora of receiving options for Caleb Williams. My prediction, I do think they get to the NFC Championship game, but I do see them losing in the NFC Championship game. much like the Commanders last year. I think this is a new team. No one has played them really this year in the NFC or AFC. This is the first time playing this iteration of this team, and I do think they're going to be able to take advantage of that and get to the NFC Championship game. But they're going to lose to one of these more solidified, whether it's the Rams, the Eagles, the Niners. I think one of those more solidified, they turn out wins teams is going to take advantage of their new first time being in the playoffs and take advantage of that and get a win over them. So Chicago Bears, I am buying, and my prediction is an NFC Championship game loss. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers. That's my next NFC team. The NFC Packers, I'm going to be selling all my stock if I had any stock in them. They've had one of their worst vibe seasons since Mike LaFleur took the job. The entire year, I've thought, wow, this team at any moment could just lose the next 4 games, right? Nothing's consistent, whether it's offense or defense. They do win, they've won 9 games, right? They're 9-5-1, so they've won 9 games. But, it's been ugly wins. Now, wins are wins, ugly wins, pretty wins, doesn't matter. A win is a win. But they've lost their biggest investment in their team in Micah Parsons to a torn ACL. So you're not going to have that premier defensive player. Around him has been an okay, mediocre defense. But when he was in there, there was a top 10 defense. Now they're middle of the pack. Offensively, Jordan Love has been banged up. While Malik Willis has looked okay in replacement of Jordan Love, you can't replace Jordan Love. So I think they're limping into the playoff picture. It's kind of more like the Vikings and Lions had a really bad season than the Packers had a really good season, and that's why they're in the playoffs. It's more of the other teams had just kind of limped their way into getting eliminated. I don't see them making it very far. If they do, obviously they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't see them making it very far. If they do make it further than the first round, I would be shocked. So my prediction is a first round exit. I just don't see them going back to going past the first round. If they make a surprise deep playoff push, it will be in spite of all the issues they've had this year. But my prediction is a first round exit to whoever they play, because they're either going to play the Bears or the Niners or the Rams. That's a very hard, not the Rams, because the Seahawks have the 1 seed. You're not going to face the the Buccaneers or the Panthers, right? Because you're going to be the 7th seed. You're not going against the 5 seed. If the Bears lose to the Niners are the 2 seed. If the Bears win, they're the 2 seed. So no matter what, you're going up against one of the best teams in the NFC, and I still think the Packers have the power right now to take one of those juggernauts out. So my prediction is a first round exit. Finally, for the AFC, is going to be the Buffalo Bills. That's right. I'm officially buying into the Buffalo Bills propaganda. I am buying into their Super Bowl hopes. The Bills have really impressed me since the bye week, where I was completely out on them. This is a team I thought could miss the playoffs, especially with the Patriots, how good they were playing. But since the bye, they've really come out with a fire, especially on defense. This is the #1 rushing team in the league with James Cook and Josh Allen. James Cook having 1,600 rushing yards and his best individual season, in my opinion. This is the peak of James Cook, and Josh Allen is obviously Josh Allen. The wide receivers and tight ends, I think, are good enough to convince me that they can show up in the playoffs, but they're not. You're not gonna rely on them. James Cook has been facing 7-man boxes all season, and it's because of the threat of Josh Allen's legs and Josh Allen's arm. They have to respect it. So James Cook takes advantage of lighter boxes to just absolutely demolish defenses. They have the #2 passing defense, but they are among the bottom 5 rushing defenses. In the NFC, there's a lot of really good running backs, and a lot of really good run games. So it'd be interesting with the Buffalo. I'm not the NFC, the AFC. The AFC has a lot of really good run games. So I do worry about what that would look like in the AFC. But if they can get a team like the Broncos, right? If they can somehow face the Broncos in the first round, I actually think they could beat up on the Broncos, because their run game, like I said, is inconsistent. The Bills' passing defense, though, is #2 in the league. Very good passing defense. Max Harrison has played very well in his rookie season, but their run defense needs a lot more help. I just think that's gonna be their Achilles heel if they do lose. But if the Bills want to win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen, this is it. This is the one year you're gonna do it. There's no Kansas City in his way. There's no Lamar. There's no Joe Burrow. This is a season that Josh Allen has to win a Super Bowl if he's ever gonna win one. It's a bunch of first timers in the playoffs, plus the Texans and Chargers, right? You can beat those 2 teams. But then you have the Patriots, you have the Broncos. It's a bunch of teams that aren't really in the playoffs. A bunch of young guys have never been in the playoffs before. Josh Allen's been here for 7 years. He's been in the playoffs the last 6. If he needs to win a Super Bowl, this is the one year that Josh Allen's going to win the Super Bowl. And the AFC is wide open. Not any team, in my opinion, is a true juggernaut like the NFC with the Rams or the Seahawks. There's no team like that in the AFC. The Bills could beat any single one of those teams, so I am buying into my Buffalo Bills stock. And my prediction is that this is the year the Buffalo Bills go to the Super Bowl. That is my prediction, and I'm not gonna say they're gonna win or lose it because I don't know who's gonna be playing against them in the NFC. But in AFC, my prediction is the Buffalo Bills do come out of the AFC. That's it, right? This is the season, Josh. If you are gonna win a Super Bowl in your career, this is the season. So if you guys did, also it's the last season they're in the stadium. I know it doesn't matter because they're not gonna be at home, and they're not gonna be at home, especially during the Super Bowl. But that'd be really cool if the very last season of Highmark Stadium they win a Super Bowl. That'd be a pretty cool story. So if you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more of these type of videos, I have a lot of videos on this channel. I'm gonna keep going during the off season. But yeah, if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.